Hello, everybody. Welcome to Movie Club. We are back again. Mega64 here in effect. How's it going, gentlemen?
So good.
Good. I'm feeling good. I just saw what I think. What won Best Picture in 2001?
This?
I'm honestly trying to remember. Off the top of my head,
I want to say it was Gladiator.
Yeah, Gladiator won in 2001.
It had to be, right? Okay.
It was.
Well, it was robbed. Or
it was. Well, I mean, it was
robbed.
robbed unrelated to today's film because, ladies and gentlemen, today we are watching, that's right, The Fast and the Furious, the 1954 crime film, directed and written by Roger Corman, a screenplay by Gene Howell and Jerome Udlum. Now, this is... Wait a second.
I don't know. That is not what I watched. Oh, did I get confused?
Yeah, I watched the sixth movie in a franchise called Fast and Furious.
I watched one called Fast Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know. Is that not right?
I went and got Fast Burgers.
Okay, all right. Well, let's rewind here. Okay, well, Today, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to be tackling Fast and Furious. What exactly is Fast and Furious? There's a whole debate about it. I looked it up on Wikipedia, and here's what the internet has to say.
Okay.
The Fast and the Furious is a media franchise centered on a series of action films that largely concern illegal street racing, heists, and spy heists. The franchise includes short films, television series, live shows, video games, and theme park attractions.
Wow.
Hot damn. And I guess that was all kicked off by the 2001 film, the original in the franchise, The Fast and the Furious. That's what today's episode is actually about. Woo!
Yeah. And I remember seeing this when I worked at Blockbuster. Too Fast, Too Furious was coming out, but this was all on the shelf, and I was always like, does anyone care about this? And as I learned, many people did care about it. I was surprised.
Answer apparently, Rocco, is yes. People seem to care a lot about this.
I too was there for the beginning. I remember when this movie was coming out in theaters, I didn't care about it. And you know what? I'll tell you, I was the target audience. I was 15, 16 years old.
Yeah.
Who else are they going for?
Yeah.
16-year-old dudes. And just at the time, I didn't care. This looked like a really shitty movie, but here we are 19 years later. And let me tell you guys, the Fast and the Furious franchise is the 10th highest grossing film franchise of all time.
Oh my God.
What's
all time.
This might be crazy. What is number one?
It gotta be like
why don't we play a game?
Okay.
I just told you what number 10 was of the top 10 highest film grossing franchises of all time. I actually looked it up, and I have a list right here.
Okay.
Sean and Rocco, can you guys fill out the rest of the list? What are the other 9 top film franchises of all time?
I'm ready. Ready? Let me just list these off if you don't mind, Rocco. I have a couple in mind. Obviously, the Avengers franchise. Of course.
But is that a like Marvel has their own studio? Is that a?
I say the Avengers is a franchise. I would say that counts.
John is correct. The Avengers is its own franchise and is the 4th highest grossing film franchise of all time.
Is that based on all the movies though, or just like the 4 Avengers movies? Do you know what I mean?
I think I know what you mean, Rocco, but can you be a little bit more clear?
Like, is that encapsulating all the Marvel the Marvel Cinematic Universe? Is that what that?
Ding, ding, ding. The Marvel Cinematic Universe is its own franchise and is the number 1 highest grossing film franchise of all time.
Well, that makes sense because that encapsulates like 700 big movies.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Star Wars.
That's right, number 2, Star Wars.
That's what I thought.
Then I would say on that list, Lord of the Rings, or The Hobbit. You know, all that counts.
Well, Sean,
I'm rejecting that.
That is known as the Middle-earth franchise, you're right. That is the 9th highest grossing, just above Fast and Furious.
I know what number 3 is. I know what number 3 is.
Go ahead.
What?
I'm going to take a wild stab here. Is number 3 the Jurassic Park series?
Oh my God.
No.
Really?
Okay, wait. What about Harry Potter? There's got to be a Harry Potter one.
Sean is hitting home runs. The Wizarding World franchise, which includes Harry Potter and all those other shitty spinoffs. Number 3.
That's number 3? Wow.
Yeah, dude.
So far you guys have knocked out the top 4. You're missing 5, 6, 7, and 8.
My God.
You can hit them real quick. Or I can just tell you what they are.
I think those are my guesses. I don't think I have any more left in me.
Bond has got to be in there. No.
Oh, Bond.
Number 6, the James Bond franchise.
Okay.
Smart, Rocco. Very smart.
Is Planet of the Apes in there or no? They wouldn't.
Planet of the Apes is not.
Wow. Okay. I was just trying to think of things that with longevity, but.
By the way, Rocco mentioned Jurassic Park a moment ago. Jurassic Park is not a top 10 franchise.
Oh,
but
really?
Comes in at number 12 of top franchises.
I just know those shit sequels have earned so much. I thought that would have been on there, but.
Yeah.
So you're missing number 5, number 7,
I got one.
number 8, and I have a hint for you. Yeah.
Twilight. Is Twilight on there?
No, Twilight comes in way later as the 18th highest saga. Here's a hint for you guys, just so we can speed this along. Think superheroes that aren't
DC,
MCU.
Batman. DC?
Batman is number 7.
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah. There you go. What about like X-Men? There's a lot of X-Men
X-Men is number 8.
Oh,
Okay.
no kidding. Okay.
You're missing 1, baby.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh no, it's on the top of my head. Is it Toy Story or some shit?
Ooh.
No.
Spider-Man.
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 Oh wow.
Spider-Man. That's right.
Damn.
Congratulations, you guys. Those are a little bit of film, I guess, history for you. Top 10 franchises of all time.
That was fun. I like that game.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, without further ado, let's get into the one that started it all for the Fast saga.
Yeah.
2001's Fast and Furious. Now, did you guys want to say anything else before we get into this movie?
I kind of want to just generally know what you thought. Like, was this what you expected going in?
Let me tell you something. When this came out, there was a certain kind of person that I knew who was excited for it.
Yeah.
And I was not that person. And it was like, I just
yeah.
It was like the bro. This is not me.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about cars, really. I don't care.
Yeah. We all went to a high school together. West Hills High School was the name of our high school. And I was watching this first one, and my brother came in, and he was like, he pointed out Paul Walker, and he's like, this guy gives off such West Hills vibes, it's ridiculous. And I was like, yeah, that's totally how I felt when I saw the early, like, previews for it or whatever. I was like, I like go to school with this guy. I don't need to watch this.
Yeah.
Well, this movie has a rap and nu metal soundtrack and is about import tuner racing culture.
Yeah.
That is all I knew about it.
Yeah.
I assumed it was for a certain type of person, like you guys said, and I wrote this movie off. And then over the course of, as time went on, a lot of people would come and say, like, I secretly love this movie. It's a guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
And so in the back of my mind, I thought, okay, maybe there's something to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So watching it now, it's exactly what I thought when I was 15. It is for those people that I wrote off. This movie didn't surprise me in any way. It's exactly what I thought it would be. In fact, I was slightly disappointed that it wasn't better.
Oh, really?
I thought that every aspect of this movie, besides the stunts, sucked. It was, I was disappointed in everything. Like, the acting is terrible, and these people can act. I've seen people in this movie act well, but this was not. It seemed to me like it was like an acting class. This is rehearsal 1, day 1 of like everything I saw.
Yeah.
Well, I don't quite feel that way about it, but you'll understand how I feel about it by the end of this episode.
Yeah.
But what were you gonna say, Rocco?
I guess I'm gonna be that guy here. This was better than I thought it would be. I really was. I'm not saying like I necessarily loved it, but it was. This is how I felt. it was more of an earnest movie than I thought it would be. It definitely appeals to the people you're talking about, which is why it was off-putting to me when it came out. It definitely is that. But I felt like at least it was earnestly for them. Like it really was like there was a love of cars and a love, like there's a lifestyle that the movie really embraces and is kind of a love letter to that. It was fucking corny and cheesy and all that, but I actually kind of enjoyed it. Had like some heart to it a little bit. Like what I thought it was going to be was like big, loud, dumb, like crime movie. And so I was watching this and I ended up popping in the second one and the third one right after. I was like, I'm working today. I'll put those on while I'm working. Fuck it. And the second one was what I was afraid of that the first one was going to be. That ended up being...
That is usually the case.
Yeah, that ended up being like, oh, yeah, this is exactly what I was afraid of.
Yeah,
but,
I felt like the crime part was interesting. I didn't hate the movie like Sean did, but it was definitely like the characters were silly and underdeveloped.
Sure.
So this is a movie kind of, like I said, made for teenagers, made for 15-year-old kids. It's a very 90s movie. Came out, it was filmed in 2000, and I feel like it has an awesome look to it, an awesomely shitty look to it.
Yeah.
You may not even remember, but I'll remind you, when we first meet Michelle Rodriguez's character, she steps out of a car wearing like 3-inch boots with flames on them, flaming boots. Like, that's what you get out of this movie.
Yeah, it was.
But all right, let's get into the plot synopsis, and we'll just talk about it as we go. What do you say?
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, the movie opens on a deserted highway. A heist crew driving 3 modified Honda Civics assault a truck carrying electronic goods and steal its cargo and escape into the night. Automatically, I thought the movie was really cool with the Honda Civics and the glowing lights underneath the cars, the green glowing lights. And the stunts in this first scene were like really badass. So the movie kind of sets itself up for like practical stunts. Dominic Toretto, whatever, played by Vin Diesel. So basically, Paul Walker comes here, flirts with this girl. You see Vin Diesel's character. What is this place that they're at? It's like a supermarket slash mechanics shop.
Yeah, but with like no, yeah, it was I don't know. It was stupid. He wanted to tune him out. They said it was gonna suck. It did suck.
Technically, according to my research, that was supposed to be a grocery store. Though it appears to be a mechanic's garage that sells sandwiches. Again, a lot of this movie makes no sense. The movie's not about making sense. It's about being young and driving fast cars.
No, what cracked me up was at the beginning of this movie, you were talking about the truck heist. What I was dying for the first 5 minutes because the truck was full of like TV VCR combo units.
Oh my god!
Yeah, you don't find that out until later. But so this movie is actually like a crime heist caper. And the big thing that is stolen is $1 million worth of DVD players. That is like why the FBI is hunting down all these illegal street racers, and that is fucking ridiculous.
And it's also, it reminded me of the first episode of Sopranos when they steal the laser disc players. Yeah. Like, that's the big heist in that. It's just so funny.
Yeah, but you see like thousands of these TV. I swear in that opening shot, they're TV VCR units.
They are in that.
Right? Yeah. They say DVD later, but I don't think that was in the opening.
No, at first it was a combo of the TV connected to
and
the
it was
VCR.
just cracking me up because I'm thinking like, oh, was this heist? Oh, they're gonna get like a whopping $35 out of this haul,
right?
But
and supposedly it's $1.2 million in DVDs and digital cameras.
Which just shows you, like, if you're doing a heist type movie, always steal diamonds or something else, because when it's electronics, it just looks stupid later on.
Yeah. By the way, later on in this movie, we'll get to it, but a character is accused of this crime, and a SWAT team is set on his house, and they kick down his doors and like point guns at his family. And I thought, like, yep, really gotta get this DVD burglar.
That's what I mean. Like, the reason I brought that up though is this movie is so painfully 2001, or 2000, whatever, even that they filmed it, and that's why I got a kick out of it. Is it really kind of wasn't even parody. It was so unabashedly embracing all the biggest shit of that year. And
well, this movie actually is credited with influencing a lot of that stuff. Honestly, I don't know if it drew from it or so much like ushered it in. Yeah. Which we can talk about, but this movie is kind of credited with bringing import tuner culture to video games with games like Midnight Club and kind of changed the direction of Gran Turismo in this game. So at this point in the movie, Paul Walker goes to an illegal street race at night. He's actually an undercover cop. He wants to like get in with Dominic Toretto's crew and find a lead on who's stealing these DVD players. So he goes to this illegal street race to make a name for himself. And at this street race, they're showing all these different racers, and some dude is in a car playing Gran Turismo 2 on a PlayStation in his car, which is like you're saying, so 2000s. Who even cares? So the first act of this movie culminates in this big street race, which honestly was not that good and not that interesting, I think.
Also, I found it confusing. Now, this is maybe because I don't know. It was a 10-second race that took 2 minutes to film. So I was like, wait, how long is this race? I couldn't figure out what was happening.
So even though this part of the movie is kind of boring and kind of sucks, I want to take a moment and talk about it because there's so much going on with the trivia of this movie that happens in this scene. So exactly what you just said, Sean, this scene takes place over like 2 or 3 minutes. It's a 10-second race. It's full of all this bizarre CGI, which the rest of the movie does not have. So the whole time I was thinking like, why didn't you just do like cool stunts and racing? Why are you dragging this out with all this CGI?
I bet you that was a studio note. I bet you. Like they went, can we jazz that first race up? Can we just jazz that up? I bet you.
Maybe. But I found an interesting piece of trivia. So Ja Rule makes a cameo in this scene of the movie as another racer in this street race.
Yeah.
And at the beginning of the race, this girl comes up and she like basically pulls her titty out and he squeezes it, and she's like, I'm all yours whether you win or not, but if you win you get hurt too. And he's like racing to win a menage a trois, right? That's the plot point. That girl was supposedly a Ja Rule groupie who was just happened to be on set that day hanging out in Ja Rule's tour bus. Now guys, I'm not an expert. I don't know what she was hanging out waiting for on the tour bus. You know, if I was on set on a movie, I'd probably be checking out the cameras, trying to learn stuff.
Right.
But I guess they just needed somebody for that set. And Ja Rule's like, yo, I got somebody. And they pulled her off the bus.
Oh my God. That's hilarious.
Excuse me, Mr. Ja Rule, our actress who was going to provide the stunt booby for you to grab, she bowed out. We just don't know what to do. Nah, check it out. I got somebody. Don't worry.
Oh my God.
That's
hilarious.
Probably the most famous groupie appearance cameo in any film in recent history.
He probably really did bang her after the race. That probably really did happen.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking. So, a little bit of film history for you.
She wasn't even acting.
What?
So she wasn't even acting at that point.
Yeah.
She's just telling him the truth.
Exactly. So Paul Walker, to get in this race, offers his car's pink slip. If he wins, he gets the money. If he loses, he gives his car to the winner. He loses to Vin Diesel, but before he can hand his car over, the cops show up. Everybody runs away. Paul Walker, for some reason, Vin Diesel dishes his car, but did not get away from the cops.
Yeah, he doesn't hide. He just walks on the street so they can find him.
Yeah, so he has to hop into Paul Walker's car to get away from the cops, and thus their friendship is born, and they become, the best of friends. Yeah. That's kind of the end of Act 1 for this movie. Anything to say so far or add to that?
No, they throw you into this world like that. Here's the thing. They throw you into this car racing world that I know nothing about. Yeah. And it's like, it really is, as you said, like this is for those type of people. Like they're talking about engine things. I don't know what the fuck they're saying. Like, I'm just so lost when it comes to that stuff that it's like, I don't know what this is. Is this world real? Maybe. I have no idea. Do people really do this? I don't know.
Well, I don't think you're supposed to necessarily know. Everybody in the movie is an expert on cars, so I just take it they know what they're talking about, and they seem very impressed, and so I'm impressed too. You know?
Yeah.
I was so confused because I kept seeing the NOS logo, and then Paul Walker kept saying, "Oh, I need NOS. Yeah, before I race, I need NOS." And the whole time I'm thinking, like, "Yo, this guy, is he tired? Like, he needs an energy drink? Or what?" They're
Also,
talking about nitrous oxide.
I noticed there's a lot of product placement. Like, there's a Pizza Hut driver who couldn't get through.
Oh yeah.
There's just a lot of ads for things throughout this movie.
Yeah, well, that's common for films. You know what I would say too? Oh, go ahead.
Let's say I read that the Pizza Hut driver was actually the director of the movie.
That's funny.
No kidding.
Fun fact.
I was gonna say I give him a lot of credit because they let Pizza Hut has their name in that movie, but they let him. Doesn't he like curse him out? Like he's like these goddamn kids or something like that.
Oh yeah.
I just remember thinking like that was a peculiar Pizza Hut plug. I don't remember what he says. He says like shit. He does something where I was like, did they pay for that? Okay.
Michelle Rodriguez is in this movie too. I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about Michelle Rodriguez. This film is actually her second film ever.
Oh, no.
And it's kind of the movie that put her on the map. Well, her first film was a movie called Girl Fight, and she actually won a bunch of awards for that. But this movie gave her like a mainstream success. She was 22 years old in the filming of this movie, and she didn't have a license before she filmed this movie.
Damn.
She learned how to drive and got her driver's license for this movie. Later on in life, especially while filming Lost in 2005, 2006, she would have problems with speeding tickets and a bunch of driving infractions.
DUIs and stuff.
DUIs, but speeding tickets too, even while sober. And she says, like, I learned how to drive and I got my driver's license on the set of Fast and Furious, and that ruined my driving career for the rest of my life. She could never like get it out of her blood, you know?
Yeah. That's funny.
Okay, so after this big race, after Brian and Dom become friends, that's when we really discover Brian's ulterior motive. He's an undercover cop. He's trying to track down who stole these DVD players. Wow, what a caper. There's one other gang of like illegal car racers in this town. Their leader is a guy named Johnny Tran. Dominic and Brian accidentally drive their car into Johnny Tran's territory, and he takes a machine gun to the car, blows it up. We find out that car was provided by the FBI, and so, Paul Walker's character is caught between a rock and a hard place. He's trying to get in this crew, but the FBI is mad that he's burning all this money and not making any progress. Right? Everybody on board so far?
I'm on board.
The big second act kind of culminates at this thing called Race Wars. Race Wars, Race Wars, Race Wars. We're all looking forward to Race Wars. Though I do think it's funny, like at one point, the FBI and the cops give Paul Walker a warning. Like, I know you like Dom Toretto. I know you want to date his girlfriend. But Dom Toretto, he beat a guy up almost to death. He's a bad dude. Don't turn your back on him. This movie is like so melodramatic and filled with like awful lines and character motivations like that. Ooh, he beat a guy up real bad. I'll be scared.
Yeah.
Oh wait, was it his girlfriend or his sister that he's into? I thought Mia was his sister.
Paul Walker wants to date Dom Toretto's sister.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Got it.
You break her heart, I'll break your neck.
Letty is
his girlfriend. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. Okay. Cool.
So we're getting some character development leading up to Race Wars, and then we get to Race Wars, which is like a huge event where people could just challenge each other to street races willy-nilly. Yo, $2,000, you versus me, let's go. Your car versus my car, let's go. It's a cool scene. Michelle Rodriguez wins some money at the race. This minor character named Jesse puts his car on the line against Johnny Tran, of all people, and loses. And so he has to hand his car over, but he freaks out and he like runs away. And Johnny Tran is furious, right? He wants the car. He blames Vin Diesel. And he says, you got to get me my car back. We're skipping over a lot of the police detective plot here that Paul Walker's character does.
Is it because, Derek, it doesn't matter? Is that why we're skipping over that?
Well, you know, leading up to Race Wars, Paul Walker is breaking into all of these garages. He's looking for the DVD players that have been stolen, you know, because they're so valuable.
Right.
But he tells Dom, "Oh, I'm really breaking into these garages because I'm checking out these guys' engines, because I want to see what they're bringing to Race Wars." Before Race Wars happens, that scene where the FBI goes, "We know it's Johnny Tran," and they send the SWAT team to go get him, right? Which I just think is super hilarious. So Johnny Tran is like angry. He blames Vin Diesel's gang for like sicking the SWAT team on him. We're almost to the end of the movie here, so if you guys want to add in any commentary or cover anything I've missed, feel free to jump in.
No, Derek, I just feel like this movie is full of these like super like dramatic like things, but like they don't mean anything. Like there's a whole scene of like, which beer is he gonna drink? And it's like, I took all the beers, which one do you want? It's like, this is so, who fucking cares?
Hey,
like, what is this?
You can have any beer you want as long as it's a Corona. That was directly referencing the Model T. I mean, that's car history right there. Take any car you want so long as it's black. So you can't say it meant nothing.
I just feel like it was this full, like every time he went to that like police mansion that for some reason was also like their headquarters for this sting operation, which made no sense. Like everything was so like, the fuck you say to me? It was all stupid, and it's like, this doesn't mean this. Who cares?
You know, when I was watching this movie, it reminded me of a movie I loved when I was younger. William Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet, directed by Baz Luhrmann. You remember the Leonardo DiCaprio version of Romeo and Juliet?
I loved that movie. I remember seeing that. I was in love with Claire Danes in the theater. I was like, that girl is hot.
Okay, so like honestly, this movie gave me vibes from that movie. Kind of like really stylized. You remember in Romeo and Juliet, we're going to talk about a different movie for a second, but there's a scene where it's on the beach and these two rival gang members are fighting. I think it's Tybalt versus Mercutio or something like that.
Yeah, and that's where Mercutio, who is actually Michael from Lost, talking about Lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was killed in that scene.
Yeah, and in that scene, they're wearing like colorful clothes, and the way it's filmed is like the camera zooms in on their face, it goes down to their gun, it goes back to a wide shot, just shoom, shoom, frown. Well, what do you say to me? I say this to you. This movie was kind of filmed in the same way, but instead of flashy clothes, they had flashy cars, and instead of like pointing their guns at each other, they would just like race each other. And the characters were kind of shitty and kind of stupid, but they were teenagers trying to be cool and trying to be flashy. In Romeo and Juliet, and in this one, they're like people in their mid-20s. So everything you're saying is true, and yeah, the plot is stupid, but for me, it was more like the choreography of the races and the style and the persona. And it wasn't so much about like, so how's this investigation going now? Why does the FBI care so much about DVD players?
Yeah.
You know,
why are they in this mansion?
And to me, that's why I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. Is it's such an embracing of that culture at that time, and it's such a love letter to that even though things are stupid in it, like at least it's that it's not like some Hollywood what do I say? It's not some bigger parody of that. It's unabashedly that, and between him going to the police and everything else. I don't know. It's kind of a story about like, giving into the real, giving into the man and giving into that world versus the world of your passion. I don't know. I didn't mind it.
I don't think there's much of a moral to this story. I think this is like a vehicle for cool car chases.
Oh, 100%.
Chicks and just all that.
But I think but I'm just saying, I think they did it well. Honestly, like if it's going to be that, I thought that was the best you could do it in 2001.
Maybe. Let's get to the god-awful, disastrous ending. So, after race, by the way, we talked about how this guy in the crew, Jesse, he put his car on the line and he lost it, and then he rode off. He didn't give it to Johnny Tran, right?
Right.
That car later on was purchased by Malcolm in the Middle's Frankie Muniz,
Oh, no kidding.
who apparently is a huge fan of this movie and
Wow.
wanted that. So there's photos of him in that car. But anyways,
That's funny.
Paul Walker needs to find who's hijacking these DVD players, and he doesn't want to believe it, but it's true. It's his best buddy. It's Dom Toretto and the crew that he's been hanging out with this whole time. And they go on another heist, the motherlode of all heists. They want to jack another truck. But now the truckers know they're coming and have armed themselves. So the final scene of this movie is this final truck heist, which is cool, but is almost like a bookend to the beginning of the movie. It's a repeat of that early heist. But now the truck driver is a shotgun. That's the big difference.
Right.
That should have been the title of the movie, Truck Driver with a Shotgun. In the whole movie,
Yeah.
you'd be going, when's that coming?
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Let me say something. If you've never seen this movie and you're listening to us talk about it, you're probably thinking, this sounds really boring. This whole movie sounds really boring. The action scenes are what is great about this movie. And I could say, like, oh, he drives real fast, and then he jumps onto the truck, but it'd be better just to watch it. You watch this movie for the action scenes, and that's really, the movie is a vehicle for these action scenes. This final heist, I could describe it. It's not particularly cool sounding on paper, but it's exciting when you watch it. Wouldn't you agree, guys?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The heist goes wrong. They basically have to abort it. Pretty much everybody crashes on the crew. And then Paul Walker's character comes to save them from dying, from being killed by this trucker who has the upper hand. He's able to save the crew. The trucker gets away. And then one of the crew members is mortally injured, and he calls in like a helicopter to rescue him. And in doing that, he reveals that he's been an undercover cop the whole time. Oh my God. I was watching it. I honestly thought Vin Diesel and him were going to like have a fight, or Vin Diesel was going to like try to kill him. Vin Diesel kind of stares at him with like drool coming out of his face, like he's just been lobotomized. And then Vin Diesel just gets in a car and like drives away. I guess the movie's presumably over at this point, but no.
Nope. There's
Paul
more.
Walker and Vin Diesel need to reconcile whatever's going on between them. They had a bromance, but now he's a cop, I'm a crook. What are we going to do? They settle it with a race for whatever reason. And the movie ends with them racing towards an oncoming train. Who can make it past the finish line without this train killing them? Spoiler alert. They both make it.
Oh.
But then Vin Diesel crashes. Which is a badass crash. Again, it's totally fucking cool.
Yeah.
That's cool looking, yeah.
This is the ending, guys. This is how the whole movie ends. Vin Diesel crashes. Okay. Then we hear sirens coming. Oh, the cops are coming, and I'm a cop. All right. Paul Walker takes his keys and gives them to Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Here you go.
I owe you
Yeah.
a 10-second car.
Yeah, I told you I'd give you a good car because the one got shot. The car that the FBI provided to me that I was lying about anyways got blown up when I said I'd give it to you. Anyways, Paul Walker, who's been chasing Vin Diesel this whole movie, gives him the cars to the key and lets him drive away, and that's how the movie ends. And they literally like roll credits on that.
Yeah.
Here you go, buddy. I'm a cop, but you could go away. The Fast and the Furious. Credits.
I hated this movie. I hated this movie. It sucked.
I was enjoying the movie, and then that happened, and I was like, "That's how it ends." He just lets him go.
I like that ending. I thought it was good.
What the fuck? How?
What was good about it?
Family comes first.
Family? That was just some criminals.
He broke
They weren't his family.
He broke bread with those people. I remember the scene where they're all having dinner out in the back, and I remember thinking, like, there's a chemical change here. Like, something is changing here. And then he's in that last scene, and he's just like, I can't do this. Like, I have too much connecting tissue with this guy, and I'll never feel good about just letting this happen this way. So, take the keys. I owed you the car. I thought they paid off that little bit. And
Paul Walker is the terrible cop. He is the worst cop.
Oh, yeah.
Can I tell you some things, you guys? Can I tell you some things?
Yeah.
Two things. There is an after credits scene.
Yeah.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
Now,
that's what I was going to say.
there's an scene that shows Vin Diesel in a different car speeding through the desert of Mexico.
Yeah.
And he repeats a line from earlier in the movie. I live my life 1/4 mile at a time. Nothing else matters. Which I interpret, I'm sorry, Rocco, as a giant fuck everybody in the world. I got away. I'm driving. Whatever happens, happens.
Mm-hmm.
What does that have to do with the? I don't think that. What? I didn't think that was incongruent with the ending.
Well, I mean, family first, but Vin Diesel kind of abandoned everybody he knows, and he's on the run. And desert thing. Earlier in the movie, he says, "I don't care about my shop. I don't care about my mortgage. I don't care about the bullshit problems my friends have. All I care about is racing. I live my life 10 seconds at a time," which basically says I only look out for myself. And then at the movie, he reiterates that point.
Sure. Well, I mean, I think at this point he's on the run from the law, and I think it's more, I don't know, I just took it more as like, as long as he's speeding behind that wheel, like that's his only safe place. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I like that scene too.
And then there was a deleted scene where he actually goes to Mia, basically tells her, "I quit the police force and I want to be with you." And she's like, "Well, it's not going to be that easy." And he's like, "Well, I got plenty of time, baby." That was a deleted scene on the DVD. But yeah, for me, if you like the ending of Fast and Furious, that's cool. It's a huge success. It spawned a ton of sequels. I was bummed out that this cop kind of just let the bad guy get away because he kind of idolized him a little bit, to be honest. Just kind of like looked up to him, was like, well, yeah, this guy's a crook, but he's cool. I'd rather be cool than be honorable, I guess. It bummed me out a little bit. It was kind of like a downturn for that character.
Yeah. See, I really did not get that from it at all. I didn't think it was about being cool. I took the honorable part of it as he had something deeper with him, you know what I mean? And it ran deeper than his job. So you could look at it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. All cops are bastards. I didn't care about the police.
No, I don't care about the police either. But I was just like, Paul Walker was bad at everything in this movie. He's a bad cop. He's not a good racer. He just sucks in every aspect. It's like, why am I rooting for this guy? I don't give a fuck about him. Like, he's idolizing Vin Diesel, who also sucks and is not a good person, and he's not fun to root for. So like, everything was just so like in a wall of shit for me, where it's like, I don't like any of this except for the stunts, which were fine. But
yeah, I agree. I mean, I liked it a little bit more than you, Sean. I think the ending was disappointing. A lot of critics criticized the ending, but overall, a lot of movies have bad endings, but the movies are still enjoyable, and that's what this movie is for me. It's an enjoyable movie for the action scenes, but story and acting, who cares? It's not about that. I truly cannot believe that this shit movie spawned what will be, it's like over $5 billion worth of box office growth, like from all this franchise. That's crazy that this movie was able to accomplish that. Good for that movie, I guess. Yeah. But well, I guess I have a theory on that. The movie got bad reviews, but it made a lot of money. The second movie got bad reviews. All the movies in this franchise got bad reviews until the fourth or fifth one, and then they suddenly started getting good reviews.
Huh.
I think that's like an interesting nugget of trivia. And at the same time, I found this other piece of trivia that I found really interesting. The Fast and the Furious franchise and the X-Men franchises have pretty much released installments in their franchise the same year for every single movie they put out.
Wow.
So X-Men and Fast and Furious came out the same year. X2 and Too Fast, Too Furious were 2003. X-Men The Last Stand and Fast and Furious Tokyo Drift were 2006. X-Men Origins Wolverine and Fast and Furious were 2009. X-Men First Class and Fast 5 were 2011. The Wolverine and Fast and Furious 6 were 2013.
Oh, wow.
Fast and Furious 7 and X-Men Days of Future Past were both going to be released in the same year, but Furious 7 was delayed because of Paul Walker's death. But they got back on track with the next franchises. Fast 8 and Logan were both released in 2017.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And I feel like there's like been a change. Maybe you guys agree in the past 20 years and kind of the movies that America is putting out. I think everybody can see that. And if you look at the X-Men franchises and the Fast and Furious franchises, and you look at how they are received critically, you can see that change happening in critics and audiences as these franchises go from being like critically panned but successful movies to critically adored mega franchises that have video games and television shows and all this other spawn-off stuff happening. I don't know, like, what it all means when you gather that information, but I do think it's just something interesting to look at and kind of chart the course of how movies have changed and blockbuster movies over the past 2 decades. You know?
I feel like for this, why this became such a franchise is it's going to sound weird because I'm not saying all the characters are good people or good or even good characters. But these movies embrace what they are, and they're not. How do I say this? There's no mean-spiritedness, or it's kind of like they're positive a little bit. You know what I mean? Even though it might be about criminals and heists and whatever, there's kind of a positive vibe to them that I think people dig. It's like all the exciting stunt stuff, but I think there's like an energy to them that is missed. If that makes sense.
Yeah. The director, Roger Cullen, said that all of the people in this movie were like up and coming actors.
Yeah.
It was a lot of their first movie, or this movie was actually what broke a lot of these people and made them superstars.
Yeah.
The girl who plays Mia, Jordana Brewster, I saw an interview with her, and she said her favorite part of this movie was kissing Paul Walker. Then they asked Paul Walker, like, Jordana said her favorite part of this movie was kissing you, and he just smiled and got giddy, and he's like, well, I mean, I like kissing Jordana. I mean, I'd kiss her again if she wanted to. And then you find out that Vin Diesel and Michelle Rodriguez were dating around the time of this movie. Yeah. And it's unrelated to this movie, but Taye Diggs came on for the sequel for Too Fast, Too Furious. And he had a quote, and he was like, you know, we were way too young, making way too much money. We were joking and just having fun. It was hard to make these movies and hard to pay attention. I think what you're talking about, Rocco, and part of the energy is just people in their 20s genuinely just enjoying their life and having fun. And this was the vehicle for them to, like, you know, have those. I feel like a lot of that energy came through on camera, honestly. I think, like, being young and having fun adds a spark to some projects. You know, I say this during Dolomite, but that's part of what made Mega64 so successful. I think we were, like, you know, fresh out of college and just having fun and being friends. And Fast and Furious taps into that energy. I think maybe even just subliminally. Maybe you're not even aware of that when you're watching it, but it's there. Because when you look in the interviews and you do some research, you know, all this evidence comes out of how close these people really were, you know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, just in general, those characters are really, like, there for each other, and I don't know. There's even aside, you know, just as an aside, it's just there's a different energy to it than a lot of the other, you know, X-Men. It's kind of like, I don't know. They're all like threatening, you know. I don't know. There's a different energy in these movies. I think people want that. I don't know.
I agree. So let's give us some popcorn shakes. Sean, will you do the honor of giving it a really high popcorn shake to start?
I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 popcorn shakers. Best no. Hey, a lot of people love these movies, and so I am not shitting on you for not, you know, that's fine if you like these movies. Also, like, this is the first one, so I'm sure I'm assuming they get better as time goes on.
Second one I thought was way worse. I thought the second one was everything I was afraid this one would be, where it was like big, dumb, loud crime movie where everything has to outdo the last thing, and I didn't like that. But
I'm giving this one 1.5 shakers only for the stunts. Everything else was a big old no shakes on my popcorn for this movie. Shit show. Hated it. Thank you.
Is that 1.5 out of 2?
1.5. No, it's out of 5. The usual 5. Surprise. You know what? This is, I would say, this besides Love Guru, this is the worst movie we watched. Besides Love Guru.
I'm blown away. I did not think this was that bad at all. I
hated it.
You like this was worse than Black Hole?
Black Hole was a cool stylized movie. The story sucked, but it was interesting to look at, and I saw what they were doing there. I liked Black Hole more than this.
Okay.
I liked You Don't Mess with the Zohan more than this movie.
Yeah,
I hated this movie.
I didn't think there was any. I mean, this was like again, it was painfully 2001, but I didn't think it was that bad.
Maybe what I hate about it is there was a person in high school or people in high school who I hated that I saw in this movie. Like, oh, this is this guy. This is this guy. And this brought me back to the people I used to fucking hate. And maybe that's what my anger is directed
I mean,
towards.
I felt that too, but I don't know. It didn't.
Yeah. Ooh.
No, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, it was better than I thought it was going to be. I give it probably like a 3.
3. Wow.
Shakes.
I think I give it like a 2.5.
Yeah. Yeah.
I knew we'd get you doing the 0.5s at some point. We finally got it.
Is that my first one?
I think so.
No, you did one before. I noticed. I made a mental note of it. I think last time you gave a 0.5.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that was this movie. I'm going to get a lot of hate, I'm sure. Sorry. Rocco, what are we watching?
There's one movie that a lot of people have asked us to talk about, and it's funny because I feel like recently a lot of other channels that I follow who talk about movies have recently brought it up, and I don't know if it's the anniversary. I don't know. So I was thinking like, well, everything's kind of been said, but then I thought, no, we've never talked about it. So screw it. Do not adjust your television set. We are going to tune into UHF with Weird Al on the next episode. A comedy from 1989. If you haven't seen it, check it out. We're going to talk about it next time.
I've never seen it.
Oh, no kidding. Wow.
You've never seen UHF, Derek?
Not one second. You don't know anything about this movie.
All right.
I am dying to know what you think about it.
Yeah, I'm excited to, someone watching that cold. I honestly don't know what you'll think of
this. Was, I have not seen it in a long time, but there was a time in my life where this was my favorite movie, so I'm very excited to go back and revisit it.
I'll let you know. I'm not expecting very much.
Hey, Derek, you're probably not going to get very much, but I'm curious. I cannot wait for the next episode. Can't wait.
Yeah.
All right. Well, until next time then. I guess that's all for Movie Club. We've been fast and we've been furious. So let's get out of here.
That's for sure.
I got the whole box set of these. I'm popping them in. I'm through the third one. I'm gonna watch them all. I'm just declaring right now. I am gonna watch them all.
Okay.
I'll let you guys know.
Can't wait.
Goodbye.